the workshop is tips and tricks. So from people that have done it before, this is just a general overview of everything that you maybe didn't know, that you wish you'd known, check-in, day of the event. So we'll start with just bringing it back. So for the CHOC walk, we have 2 days of check-in right before the event. So you check in to pick up this t-shirt right here, your CHOC walk t-shirt, and you also pick up your wristband. So your wristband is the only thing you need to get in the day of the walk. You don't need anything else. So you would check in before the event, pick up your wristband, and then the day of, you just basically, you park for free, you get in, you have your wristband, that's it. There's no other process. We do not have check-in the day of the event, just because it's 15,000 people. So if we had to check in, you'd have to get there at like 2 a.m. We did not want to do that.
You should leave now. Get in line now.
We took that out. So we check in the 2 days before the event, so the Friday and Saturday. And it's most likely going to be in this building. It's not 100% confirmed, but most likely you would come here. All you need to do is give us your name. We'll look you up in the system. As long as you have the 85 minimum, we can give you your stuff. If you don't have it yet, you could always bring in cash or checks, or bring the remainder of it, and then we'll give you your t-shirt, wristband, and then you're good to go. What am I?
Team captains check in.
Oh, so you don't, if you can't check in, so maybe you're out of town, maybe you're not here that day, you can have someone else check in for you. So a friend, a family member, doesn't even have to be anybody that's on team. All they have to have is your name, and that you have the 85. They'll come in, say your name, and then we give them your information for you, or your wristband for you. If you're a team captain, you are more than welcome to come check in for your entire team. You could pick up all the wristbands, all the t-shirts. If you want to do it in advance and say you have a team, you want to be organized and have it a week before, reach out to us and we can get that ready for you. It doesn't have to be those 2 days. If maybe you only are here the week before, we're happy to work with you. But again, as a team captain, you do not need to. It's not a requirement. If you want to just check in for yourself and have everybody go by themselves, you can as well. But you can, if you'd like, pick up for your whole team. So outside of that, what would you guys say are your tips for checking in that you've learned?
Parking. You park in the structure, you have to walk to the park. So make sure you have enough time to get into the structure, park, and then walk to the park. Because the shuttles won't run that morning.
We're talking about checking in for the event, like
Yes.
check-in process?
So checking in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
picking up
I thought you were talking about the day of the
That's a
walk.
good tip,
Yeah, the day of the walk, the morning of the walk.
Okay, so checking in to pick up our stuff. I always pick up for our whole team, just because it's kind of one last time to check in with everybody. And truth be told, your entire team is not going to read the entire website. So you I always do a sheet of, the tram won't be running, and you need to be here at this time, and this is where we're meeting, and things like that. And I put that with their wristband and their shirt and whatnot, and do it that way. Some of the other teams have collected all the shirts and then that evening gone to a restaurant, a Chick-fil-A or Ruby's or whatever, and done one last fundraising event where, hey, meet us at this place at this time, pick up your stuff, have dinner. We make a little more money toward our team goals, because you can continue fundraising after the walk happens to meet those goals. So that's something that not a lot of people know. So for me, checking in, just making sure hounding everybody to get their information in. And if they don't have their money in when you come to check them in, they need to come and do it on their own. But we as a team always try and pick up everyone's stuff for them. I don't have a fancy color-coded binder like Miss Wendy over here, but we seem to all make it work.
We did the same thing last year. We picked up everybody's bracelets and t-shirts, and then we actually ourselves distributed it to everybody because we're kind of running short on time, so didn't have time to have everybody come and pick them up from our house, so we just deliver them ourselves. So, and then I think before, like a week and a half before the walk, I started putting on messages on social media, like what time our team was going to meet, and we chose a spot in downtown Disney where we were all meet, and I can't remember what we had, as an indicator that was our team. I think I had everybody show up an hour and a half before the walk started. Because I just didn't want, because I felt, so many of us, I thought, and then it was like everybody, and we had everybody show up on time, so our whole team was together the entire time.
Another note for checking in for your whole team, so for the day of the walk, if you haven't been, you'll park in a Disney structure, so they'll tell you closer to you or the day of where to park. Park in the structure, you'll walk down. You don't need your wristband to park, so say you're a team captain, you pick up for everybody. but you don't have time before the walk to meet up, you can meet in downtown Disney and give everybody their wristbands and their t-shirts. Or even if it's just your family, it doesn't have to be a team, but even just your family, maybe you don't see them before the morning of. You can pick up for whoever you want and then meet somewhere in downtown Disney. They check before you enter the main gate, so anywhere before that you can meet and give people their wristbands. So don't feel obligated if you're not able to find a meeting time or anything like that. You could do it the day of, but I know some people have a great way to give their t-shirts and wristbands and make it a fundraiser as well. So I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Okay. Yeah, we do a Team Katalani packet pickup. So I do about a week before the walk, pick up like everybody's who's done the $85, and that's where I really try to get on people to make sure they get their $85. If you don't want to do, just let me do it. Let me do it for you. I'll pick it up. I'll pick up everything you need so they can come to the pick up their t-shirts, because we used to do it out of our house. So we had 200 people coming to our house random times, so I always had to be available. We both worked full time, so it was really hard to try to schedule everybody to come, and I was like, you know what, we're gonna do one time, everybody will come to us and we'll do a fundraiser. So we ended up going to Chipotle that year. At that time, they used to do 50% of everything you brought in, so we packed up the boxes, we went there, everybody went through, picked up their stuff, picked up their dinner, went on their way, and we made money and handed out t-shirts and didn't have to be at home all the time. So that was actually something that was really like, oh, I don't know why we didn't think of this before. But that's an idea if you have a big team and you want to do that. Like, you can, like Chris said, you can continue earning money a month after the walk. So it takes a few, 3-4 weeks sometimes to get your restaurant fundraiser checks in. So it still will get in time, but that just is more helpful. We didn't have to clean up. I didn't have to make the house perfect.
People knew what time they
closed.
closed.
They gave you a little window. I did it after work, and so it was really easy to like kind of create something that we already had to do into a fundraiser.
So you do have a month after the CHOC walk to continue fundraising. So on that note, if you do a fundraiser the week of or the day of, you still have a whole month. So for those funds to come in, and even after, we pretty much wait a little bit longer. So don't feel pressured to rush before the day of the event for fundraising. And then another note is that if you're not able to pick up your t-shirts or wristbands, you don't want to even worry about it. We have an option where you can have everything shipped to you. So it's called, well, it's not called anything, but when you're registering, it says, we don't have a name for it, but when you're registering, it says registration and shipping options. So if you click that, you can select to have your wristband and t-shirt mailed to you. So you don't have to come to us. We'll mail that out about a week, 2 weeks, week and a half before the event, so you get it the week of the event. You just come directly to Disney on the day of with your wristband and you're good to go. The only thing with that is you do have to, we have a $10 additional fee for that to pay for the shipping and handling, and you do have to have it in your account when we select it. So if you register and you go through, it'll automatically have you pay $95 at the end, so there's no option for fundraising. But if you want to do that and you want to fundraise and then you also want to have it shipped, you have until July 15th, and we have this on the website, the date, July 15th. If you have $95 in your account before then, just give us a call at our CHOC Walk phone number, shoot us an email, and let us know, hey, I decided I want to have it shipped after all, can you switch that? As long as you have 95 in there, we'll turn on the button and then we'll switch it for you. So you can fundraise, it just won't let you during registration. You'll have to do 95 automatically, but you do have until the 15th, and if you're at that point saying, hey, actually, I'm not going to be there, I'm out of town, I'm going to be there the morning of, just call us up and we'll switch it over for you. Okay, now moving on to tips for the day of the event. What are your guys' tips for morning of? It's a lot of commotion, a lot going on.
So much traffic from every direction. So plan accordingly. I mean, from every direction, right? I think the very first year we stayed at home, and then we learned very quickly that we never wanted to do that again. So we get a hotel nearby the night before, so we don't have to do the traffic. But make sure you let your team people know that there is a lot of traffic, and you do have to walk from the structure. So if you're not familiar with the Disneyland Resort, the structure is quite a bit of ways from Main Street USA, and you do have to walk that whole tram route. So,
That's part of the,
It's part of the 5K, by the way, so they don't make you walk to the entrance and then make you walk 3 miles after that. And it's not as bad as they're making, you're not walking, 5 miles to get in, it's not that bad. A lot of people choose to do it, and not take the tram, so, but if the earlier you are, the better off you are. Because you'll have 1 or 2 people on your team every year. I'm waiting to get in. I'm almost there. We'll see at the end. And that's just kind of how it works out. But for us, I'm always an early person. So for us, I always tell the team what time to meet, and then I get there earlier than I even tell them. But there are teams that don't necessarily want to participate in the opening ceremony, because they let you go in waves. And like I said, I always get the high fives because we'd be ending the walk and they'd be starting. So in the past,
Hawaiian time.
So don't fret if you are late and you miss the opening ceremony. It does go in waves, and you get just as much magic, throughout the walk. But if you do plan on seeing the opening ceremonies, you've got to be in that first wave. And on this poster right here, you'll see. Look at the beautiful banner in the front.
We've seen it once.
Someone's I think you've twice. Yeah, this is Darlin's Angels. They were
Oh, yeah,
early.
yes,
They were in the
yes,
front. But as you can tell, it is very crowded. But in true Disney fashion, it's fabulous. So even though there's a lot of people, and it's a time-sensitive walk because they've got to get us all in and out of the park happy and completed before the park opens for other guests. So that is definitely something to remember. There is a cutoff as to what time.
Yes, and I was going to note that as well. So we find out closer to, probably a couple weeks before, what the cutoff time is, depending on the timing of the event. So we will send out emails, we'll put it on social media and let you know. It's typically like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and it will say like 7:30, that's the last chance you have to enter Disney. 8 o'clock, that's the last chance you have to enter California Adventure, just based on the timing. And then after a certain point, we can't let you in anymore because the parks need to open. But we'll send all that information to you so you know when that last point is.
So I would just say 2 biggest tips. 1, get there early. Get there early and maybe bring snacks for your team because they're going to be there early and giving you the evil eye. But then also for us, there's waiting. You get there early and then you're standing there waiting and you're staring at each other and you're like, oh, hey, high five, the sun's not out, I got my coffee. And then, it's good for everybody to be chit-chatting. But one thing we've done for several years is created a little quiz, and I bring some type of a prize. So everybody fills out a little questionnaire when they get there. So it might be name one person who sat on the very first board of directors for CHOC Hospital. The answer happens to be somebody who created the park you're standing currently in when you're doing the CHOC Walk. Or how many years has the CHOC Walk existed? How many people are currently participating in the CHOC Walk? And then for us, we did things like, how many pills a day does Nolan take? How often does Nolan do his, IVIG infusion therapy? And things like that. So we incorporated fun facts in. And then everybody's went into a drawing and we drew something out. I got something Disney-ish and we would give it to them. But it gives everybody a chance to share some knowledge about what we're about to go do. But then also it passes time and the kids like to, fill them out. So that's something that we've done before to entertain people. That would be my little Team Torres trick of the trade, I guess. Be early and
I would say the
bring
same thing.
entertainment.
I would just get there early. Like I said earlier, we told our team to get there an hour and a half before. Everybody loved me for that. We
It's
had everybody
worth
get there
it.
at 4. I think parking structure opened at 4 a.m. I told everybody to be there at 4:30. And there was somebody who got there right about 6 o'clock, and all the way from the entrance to get into the front where our team was at, it was very difficult. They had to meet us halfway through the walk because that's the amount of people that get me. 15,000 last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can only, I think it's 15, there's a limit. Yeah.
15,000 of your closest friends.
Yes.
And touching on what they said again, if you're not a morning person, you do not need to get there at any specific time other than the cutoff. So if early morning is not your thing, you could get there essentially at 7 o'clock and park and run in, and you wouldn't see the whole thing, you wouldn't see the opening. But if that's not your thing, you still get the the CHOC Walk feel. I know people sometimes are turned off by that point and they're like, oh, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., I'm not coming. But you could say, no, everyone can join at a different time. You can go at your own speed. There's no running involved. We get that a lot.
Yes.
Do you have to run?
No.
There's no
Leisurely
running.
You are not
stroll.
allowed
It's
to run.
Yeah,
It's a
snail's
stroll.
pace,
Yeah, you're strolling
dancing.
through.
Yeah, a lot of dancing, a lot of
Mhm.
picture taking with
Yes.
characters.
Mhm.
So it's an experience.
There's a lot of surprises there. There's things going on that you won't see during a regular time. So it's closed off to everybody but us. So it's a special event just for the CHOC Walk. There's special entertainment. There's special characters. There's photo locations. There's lots of stuff going on. And then of course there's all the families. You see the banners. You see the signs. Like you're really engaged the entire time.
It's worth it. You can sleep after.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really, as soon as you get there, the adrenaline kicks
Yeah.
in, and you're just like, oh my
Right.
gosh, I want to do this every year. So I know people sometimes get turned off by that, but I want to like really stress that point. It's like amazing. You, as soon as you're there, you feel it, and even if you don't want to get there at the crack of dawn, you can get there later. It's not that bad. When you get there early, though, there is places in downtown Disney that will be open. So if you want to pick up coffee, breakfast, that will be available, and we'll email that out to let you know what's open. We also have specific deals for downtown Disney during that day, so there'll be like 30% off or whatever, so we'll have deals available for you. You get water during the event, so we're passing out water, but again, you could always bring snacks if you want to bring snacks. And then we do have hotel deals for the hotels surrounding, so if you do want to stay at the hotel, we have discounts typically for like the Disney hotels, for the other surrounding hotels. So if you don't want to drive in and park, you can always stay there. Those are the few things I have.
This is the only event that Disney holds. All the other events they've canceled. This is the only event now,
Yeah, it's a big deal.
which is kind of cool.
I think that is all for the day of. So question for you guys: what do you wish someone had told you before you started your CHOC Walk journey?
Besides, don't try to iron on your own shirts and then go walk for 3 miles in sweat. Mine would absolutely be, and even now, I think I have to remind myself, it's not a competition.
Oh.
You are not, well, you see why I have to remind these people? So there are awards for the top teams. There are awards for the top teams, and I'm not talking about that, because that is that's good, clean competition. But a team is just as valuable that shows up with 6 people
Yes, for sure.
that's raised their minimum, as a team that has 800 walkers that's raised $200,000 in a year. And that's what I mean by it's not a competition. Everybody that walks through the gates of Disneyland that morning is just as important to us as parents and as families, and to those families sitting in the hospital. So I just wish people would have told me that, because I think you get, for us, because we're all obviously competitive, you get caught up with they have a bigger banner and their shirts are cuter and they're that kind of a thing, and that's all fun and we kid with each other, but I mean, but there's everyone is equally as important when they walk through those gates.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, we all have the same goal, and we might be wearing different shirts, but we're all on the same team. And for me, I just wish that someone would have told me that, because I think you do get caught up in your own team. And there was so many years where we'd be walking and be like, oh my gosh, the whole team's not together, and this person's late, and let it go.
Yeah.
Walk through the gate, enjoy the walk yourself, and take it all in, because you get to meet fabulous people. And just my one tip for the whole day would be, take 2 minutes to yourself to step back and look at where you are.
Yes.
Because you are somewhere
Yes.
more magical than anywhere else in the world, surrounded by the best people on earth, all for the same cause. And that should be a required statement for someone to hear before they start the walk. And that would be my overwhelming tip for sure for the whole event.
That was good, Chris. I want to be on Team Torres now.
I can get you a shirt.
I think we can be on 2 teams this year.
Front and back.
I wish that I would have known 10 years earlier about the walk, so that would have been cool. Snacks, we bring snacks,
Yeah.
like boxes of them to hand out to the team, because and even in the morning, they're like, oh, no, thanks, I had breakfast. I was like, take one, because midway through, you're gonna wish that you had. So go ahead, take one, put it in your pocket, so snacks. It's not a quick 3 miles, it's a very slow paced 3 miles.
Leisurely stroll.
Get to
And
enjoy
then
it.
The one thing that I wish we had for every year that we don't is a picture of our family together. We have a team picture, so don't forget to stop and take pictures of the team. That's awesome. That's good stuff to have. But there is not, for every year of our walk, a picture of him
Just the three of
and
us.
me and her.
But I bet you for as long as we've known each other, there's a picture of the three of the kids.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
but not of
There
us
is.
with
Oh,
our,
yeah.
We
but not of
remember
us
to
with
take
our
it
own
of
children.
others.
Yes,
We
yes,
remember
yes.
to take it of others, but not. And I was like, oh, where's the picture of three of us? So now, like last year, I was like, okay, who's in charge of taking the picture of the tags?
Yep, exactly.
And then I just, I don't know. So take
lots of
pictures.
pictures.
Take pictures. You'll want them years later.
I think the one thing that I would add on is that I wish I would have known that the registration fee, everybody could have individually fundraised and not have to, pay out of their pocket the $85. And maybe at some point, maybe it was said to me, my mind being all over the place, but I think that's something that I really wish I would have gotten information out to my team more last year, which I have this year. So, because it's $85 could be a lot.
Yeah.
For
Yes.
family, we had families of
Yeah.
5, 6 that walked with us last year. That's a bit. So we said, fundraise, everybody knows 5 coworkers or 5 people they hang out with. You just ask.
Anybody have any questions just anything that they'd like to ask about CHOC Walk, about the day of, about fundraising, teams, anything that we've shared?
Who's excited for the CHOC walk?
Hey, they're still here.
Awesome. All first-time walkers, right? No.
No, not these two.
Yeah.
Part of teams?
Look at her. Shameless.
Yeah.
Shameless.
I walk on my own, but I'm part of the pass holder,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
but I've been doing
We're
it on
pass
my own.
holders too.
Oh, okay.
It's not a competition. It's not a competition.
But yeah,
I
do
just
it
wanna
on my own,
include
yeah.
everyone. Competing.
Well, that's actually a great point. So if people don't know about the pass holder team, if you are a Disney annual pass holder, please join the team because you get special incentives for being a pass holder. So outside
And special
of,
photo ops
and
too.
special, yeah. Well, anybody can use those, but you get to be part of that team. So we'll be promoting that as we get closer. But outside of our CHOC Walk shirt, medallion, pin, Disney will have their own incentives, so their own pin, their own bag, blanket, whatever it may be. So if you are an annual pass holder, join that team. We also have a few other big teams, like for instance, KTLA has a really big team, and they'll do special incentives, and Henry DiCarlo, he's our media ambassador, he'll come out and walk with the team and have special photos, and I think you get a shirt
You have
or
to sign a
mug.
waiver.
Yeah. I'm not really sure, but there's a few special teams like that where if you join, and we'll be promoting that through email, and that's a good thing. If you, when you sign up, you automatically get signed on the email list, so we'll be emailing weekly or bi-weekly depending on the information, so any updates, information about check-in, about incentives, whatever we have updates, we'll send them through email, so make sure you check your email. We send that all out. And I don't think I had anything else.
Anything for us, you sure? Okay.
Oh no, I was just gonna say another tip that I've noticed, usually afterwards I'll try to go somewhere and grab breakfast in downtown Disney. You wanna try and make a reservation beforehand if you wanna do that. Don't just expect to walk in and get a table.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
Because
So-
15,000 of your closest friends are also.
Yeah. So that's just something that I've learned, cause I'm oh, I'm hungry after this 5K.
A tip for
So-
you, we serve continental breakfast to our team right after.
Don't tell people these things.
Just in case.
I was really trying to promote that
Where
where
did you?
That I can't tell you. That I cannot tell you. That's
I
a
can tell
secret.
you.
Oh, easy.
We're live right now, don't forget.
That secret could be a fundraiser for Team Torres.
Sell tickets to their continental breakfast.
Sell shirts to your continental.
But also too, another thing that I noticed, for the folks who are doing it for the first time, getting up early is tough and it's not ideal, but it's really worth it to get there early and give yourself enough time to get through the whole traffic and parking and get yourself down to the into the park. There's so many lines. It's Disney. There's a lot of lines, So it is worth it to give yourself extra time. give yourself extra time. Even if you get there early and you're not allowed to like walk into the park yet, just sit in your car for a moment and give yourself a chance to wake up and get yourself in there. Like that's always great. I think that was, and it's really cool to see the opening ceremony. Like even if you're kind of
Yes,
farther
it
back,
is.
it's cool to be there and experience it. Even if it's, you know, your first time especially, I would say get there early and just experience it all because it's really great. I really liked it.
Watching the sunrise is beautiful that morning.
Yeah.
I
It
remember
is.
last year getting the full on effect of it. You know, what I mean, it was awesome when the confetti got released. It was neat.
Yeah.
It was truly, I think, the first time that I have been at Disneyland. It's truly magical. I don't think I had ever found myself saying those words going to Disneyland, but I did last year. And I was like, wow, this is, and many people on our team. So that's it's a whole different, you know, the music that's playing, and just the atmosphere is beautiful.
Yes, definitely.
With it being so crowded, how do you find meeting places for your team so you can walk all together? That's,
So we have always come up with a place inside downtown Disney, so it's usually like right by guest services, and we're just very specific in that, like, head towards the main gate, the left of it, look for the black shirts, like, you know, so coming up with a spot to meet prior to that morning of is key. And you can meet anywhere in downtown Disney, in front of Starbucks, in front
Just
of the
don't
Lego
say meet at
store,
the
in
main
front of-
gate, because that's
Yeah.
what everyone does, and then
Yes.
I would
you're all.
meet out and then come together.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that security, but if you haven't been to the Disneyland Resort lately, like they have heightened their security and their bag check and their, you know, walk through the metal detectors. So all of that will be enforced that morning, even at 4 a.m.
Yes.
You'll still have to be checked out and you'll still have to follow the rules of what you can and cannot bring inside the Disneyland Resort. Even though we're not going to Disneyland for Disneyland, we're there for the CHOC walk, you'll still have to follow the same.
No wagons, no big strollers anymore. So we used to bring a wagon all the time, and now we can't.
Well, they usually allow wagons for the walk, so Ashley will have to call.
Well,
we'll
yeah,
have
we
to look
find
into
out
that.
That just changed on May 1st.
Yeah,
so
they just
we don't
changed
know.
some rules, so we're not sure exactly. We'll find out directly from Disney, the requirements, but we'll email that out and put it on the website as well, so you know. And the further away you get from the main gate, the more it opens up. So downtown Disney is really long, and from where you pass security to where you go to check-in, there are so many places. And I've been there every morning in the early morning, and when you go towards the end, it's like hardly anybody. Like it really, really isn't that crowded. So I would say for first time, try to go really far away.
Yeah,
Don't go
and then
closer to
come
main
together.
and try to
Closer to
meet
the
there.
hotels.
Yeah, closer to the hotels, closer to like where ESPN Zone used to be, where like the parking
Splitsville.
Lego
is.
store.
Go closer that way, and then there's not that many people.
And I have a tip for that too, light up signs or glow sticks.
Yes.
We do ladybug balloons, that's how everybody knows
Balloons, banners,
where to find us.
anything on
So
the
it's
stick.
something
Yeah.
that sticks out. But don't take my ladybugs.
Well, they give time for everyone to actually buy their tickets after the event for the park, like for Disneyland and California.
So we'll have, typically, they tell us closer to like the specifics on if it's a certain ticket booth or if it's all the ticket booths or whatever. And that is another good point we haven't touched on. So with your wristband, you're able to buy discounted tickets to Disney, and you can use them either that day or up to a certain point after. So usually it's about a month after, so you could always come back. Again, all those specifics on what days and the pricing and how many, all that we're still waiting to hear. But with that wristband, you will go after the walk, go back to, sometimes they'll even have carts where they sell them right outside. So you'll go back to wherever they're selling them, and you can buy those tickets and either go in the park right away or come another day. Something else we haven't mentioned, we also have a festival at the end of the CHOC walk. So in downtown Disney, it ends with a big finish line. We have like a DJ, all that stuff. And then we'll have booths where they're giving away goodies and treats and all that stuff. It's all of our CHOC walk sponsors.
The one that's always for the bananas.
There's lots of fun stuff there, so you can go either to the festival and kind of like a festival gathering, or you can go back to the ticket booths and buy your tickets, or you can go to breakfast. There's all the stuff you can do. That typically, just to give you some time frames, people typically cross the finish line anywhere from like 8 a.m. to about 10 a.m. At 10 a.m., the park's open, so everything is done. We're closing down the festival, so it's typically done around that time, and that's when you go breakfast, go wherever. But yeah, that's pretty much the main thing for the festival.
But to answer your question, that wristband, you can go anytime in that day, but you have to get those discounted tickets on that day.
You have to
And your
purchase them.
wristband has to be attached to
To your
you,
wrist,
so
don't take it off.
Can't
cut it off and bring it, cause they won't allow you to buy tickets there.
So some people did see long lines last year at the ticket booths right after the walk. So they went, enjoyed downtown Disney, did all of their thing down there, ate, and then went back and got in line to buy their tickets. After the opening of the park, after that kind of died down a little bit. 'Cause the
I know
lines do
too
get
that
long.
maybe in downtown Disney they might be selling tickets also, or I'm not sure how that works out.
That's something we find out
Okay.
closer to depending on,
One year they did
Disney
them on
plan
the
that,
outstation.
yeah, sometimes they have carts,
Okay.
sometimes they don't, so we'll let you know, exactly
Okay.
where they're selling them.
Depends on their construction that's going on and all that stuff too.
Mhm.
That's the last time I did it, like 3 years ago.
And that's a really good incentive too, if you have people that, wanna participate, or even they just want the discounted Disney tickets. If you fundraise and you pick up that wristband, you don't need to go to the CHOC Walk. This is just for the people that don't actually wanna go, but you still want them to fundraise. They'll still get that wristband if you get 85, and they could come at any time. So say they don't come to the CHOC Walk, they can come later, use the
And-
wristband, and then buy the
And there's usually
tickets.
there's a maximum of the number of tickets that you can purchase, but I did have a team member last year do that. They figured out that by paying $85 to secure their wristband, and they were gonna purchase their 4 tickets with their band, it saved them more money, and they got to donate to CHOC. So that was one of the incentives for someone to come and do it, so that was an idea too.
What questions or tips or tricks? You guys have all, some of you have walked as well and you know some backstage pass information.
You know, let's start.
Well, I have kind of a question. So I've been doing this, now this is my 5th year, and I'm usually on like Instagram or Facebook, and I just kind of like post it there and ask people to donate in that way. But I feel like now it's like my 5th year and people are kind of sick of hearing me ask for donations. So I'm trying to figure out how to like reword it, or should I should I start sharing other people's personal story? Like I'm trying to figure out how to like still post it on social media, but change it up a little bit so that it catches their attention more. So I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, I would say before you leave, there's 3 CHOC Walk kids in the back of the room that would love to take some pictures of you, with you, that was weird. They might want to, that might be odd, and they charge more for that, I don't know. But I'm saying, feel free, I shouldn't speak for everyone's kids, but my 2,
It's okay.
feel free, snap a selfie with them, share their story, and share, that you learned their story this morning, and this is what continues to drive you, and those types of things, this is why I do, what I'm doing. Definitely, I would say, because if you're successful in getting donations from people, maybe just remind them why you're as to why you're doing it.
And then use the tools on the CHOC Walk website, or even on the app now, to help with the fundraising, because you probably can reach more people in your phone book on your phone than you would personally. I'm just gonna send it to this person, because CHOC Walk will send the blast out to you, and you'll be like, from CHOC Walk, not you.
Notes from you.
I have a question. Have you guys ever joined forces for like a fundraising event? So let's say if Team Taurus sells tickets to it, and then Baby K or Team Kalumai, you guys sell tickets, and then you meet up at the same location.
Well, we did for something called the Ambassadors Luau for the
Yes.
past
Yeah,
few years.
I
So
remember that.
that's the only joint thing that we have done, all of us together.
Okay, I'm just thinking because sometimes there's groups that are so small.
That's a really good idea, though. Even a restaurant night where you guys could split the funds or figure out how you could do that. That's actually a really good idea, because you could reach double the amount of people, and we might have to think about that.
Or even like, I don't know, like a game night, a bunko night or something, if somebody has a multi-purpose room available, but you don't wanna just have 6 people show up, but if you
Yeah.
have multi-teams and each team is selling their own tickets to it.
Yeah,
Well,
that's a really good.
one of the fundraisers that one of our team members started is they have comedy night in Hermosa Beach. So it's how many tickets they sell
That's a good.
for that night.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So that could be, I thought about
Joining
it.
forces is a great idea, though, for sure.
Yeah. Because that's why I asked you today, is there still a comedy place at Irvine Spectrum?
There's one in Long Beach too,
Where?
In
by the
Ontario.
Pike,
What?
the Laugh Factory.
Oh,
There's one in Brea, there's improv.
I do have the Irvine
Right.
Improv at the
Is it still
Irvine
there?
Spectrum. Yes,
Okay,
it's
it is
still
still there. I
there.
didn't
It's
know if
just in a different location by the theater.
Okay.
See, you never
So-
know what information you're gonna
Yeah.
get when you start talking.
And going back really quick to your question about sharing, so even if maybe you're not here today and you don't have the privilege of meeting these beautiful kids here, go to our social media as well and go to our website, like they said. Like, we're trying to share more stories about our teams and sharing stories about individual patients, or even on the, so we have a CHOC Foundation social media and we have a CHOC Children's. So they're sharing stories about patients just as a whole. We're sharing about teams and we're sharing some of the patient stories as well. So if you don't have any connections, we have tons of stories that we're sharing, and we'd love for you to repost, or you can take that or whatever you want to do with it, because it is out there and it's public.
I think also too, you can invite them in, invite them to join you in the CHOC walk. Like, come join me. Like, thanks for supporting me all these years. Come walk with me. And if you can't walk with me, hey, there's still the original. You could just help donate, right? You know what I mean? Like, invite them in, make it personal, be authentic. Let them know that you're really passionate about what it is that you're doing. But I do love to take the picture with the kid before you leave.
Or go to one of the events that we have, because all our events are all posted, right?
Mm-hmm.
They'll be all on the CHOC website. So, I mean, we've got a CrossFit coming up.
Promotion, please, guys. What
Yeah.
else do you have? Let's talk
CrossFit
about it.
challenge,
We have a CrossFit challenge,
June
June 29th.
29th, yeah, that's it.
June 29th, and this is actually just this is a really good story. It's one of our kids that one of our Hawaii boys that came here to go to college to
School,
play
yeah.
football, and we kind of just helped raise him into his adulthood. And he started being a coach at a CrossFit gym in Signal Hill, not in Orange County, but close.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where he lives, and so he wanted to give back to us for giving to him, and he knows that we're so passionate about CHOC. So I thought, I'm gonna do a fundraiser to raise money for Baby K, for CHOC, to give back to you guys. And we're like, okay, I don't know how that would work, but shoot, he sure did it. We're doing our 6th CrossFit challenge.
CHOC.
In June. We're doing our 6th one because it's been so awesome. So he just puts it out to his gym. He puts it to gyms out in the area, and they can come do the workout for the day. It's just another example of
Your inner
the resources that you have
inside.
within your team, the things that they do on an everyday basis of how you can always make that a fundraiser. So people come and they donate to do the workout today. It's just not like a set charge or anything. It's just whatever you want to give, and then we do raffles that
There's
just
prizes winners
just kind of
and
has
raffles,
grown over
yeah.
the years. But
Last year was a great story. So most of the athletic equipment that we had on raffle went to this individual. Had no idea. Just got a brand new job as the
he's like an associate pastor for a youth program.
their youth program, and
And
he needed all this equipment for all their activities.
Oh, wow.
He couldn't figure out how he was going to pay for all this stuff, and he won it all
and he just,
Oh, perfect.
individually. I mean, it was incredible.
That's cool.
Very cool.
So yeah, so if any of you guys want to get your butt kicked, because trust me, I get my butt kicked too. It
or
happens.
even if you want to just hang out with
Hang
me.
out, donate.
There's a
We have a good
raffle,
time.
selling tickets.
Yep.
Ashley's gonna compete.
I'm working on it. I don't know if I'm in it yet, but I'll be there either way. But all of these dates, so all the fundraisers that we have, if you do build out the website, so the DIY campaign, it'll show up on the important dates page. So under event info, there's a tab or a page called important dates. So we have all of those event pages listed, and then even if you don't want to create an event page, but you have an event and you want us to promote it, we can put that on there as well. And when we send out emails, we're going to start linking and say upcoming dates, and we'll link to that page so you can see what fundraisers are happening or what's going on, and you could always just go to one and meet some of the families or just, hang out. You're more than welcome. Anything else, anybody? Hi.
Thank you guys for coming
Thank
and
you
showing
guys
up.
so
Yes, thank
much
you very
for
much.
coming. And for everybody joining us on Facebook Live, we had quite a bit of questions in there that we threw in, and people were throwing up their likes or whatever it is for Facebook. I don't really understand Facebook either.
We had a great
But we're good.
comment,
Yeah.
which was pretty cool.